So I finally got around to doing one of these. It is my first custom tactics video of FIFA 20. I know a lot of you in the comments and on Twitter have been asking me to do this pretty much since the start of the year, but I didn't want to pass on any dodgy information. I had a couple of pretty dodgy weekends at the start of the year, which I'm going to put down to my team, but as you can see, I've grinded a little bit now. I've got a team worth about 4 million coins, and I've started to get some pretty solid results in recent weeks. So I feel like it's time to actually share with you what exactly I have been using. So the main formations I've used throughout this year really have been 4-4-2 and 4-4-1-1, which are, as you can tell, as you'll know for yourselves, they're both pretty similar. So I thought I'll do a video that just covers them two, but obviously in the future, if you want me to cover any other formations, or if I start using any other formations, I'll probably do a separate video, because it gives me an opportunity to explain things in a little bit greater detail than shoving, you know, 5 or 6 formations all into one video. So let's get straight into these numbers then, and I'll try and talk you through why I use what I do, and yeah, let's get into it. So this is my team, and usually when I start the game I will go straight into this. I will go into the 4-4-1-1. I have preferred this a little bit over the 4-4-2, but I don't think there's too much between them. So this is all I do. I have defensive unbalanced, width on default of 5, depth I knock down 1 to 4. I think 4-3 are probably the best depth values to use this year. I think any other numbers besides 3 or 4, you're going to be too low or too high. Offensive style, you have only got 2 options this year, because long ball, nope. Fast build up, nope. So your 2 options this year are possession and balance. They are pretty similar. Possession, as the word would suggest, you know, you're going to get people running to feet more. A little bit easier to keep the ball, but at the same time can be a little frustrating when you just want someone to run away for the long ball. Although obviously, as I'm guessing the majority of you will know, you can trigger runs yourself by pressing L1 for them to run away, or R1 for them to run to feet. I use possession for, it's the one I use the more often, because I do like to keep the ball a little bit, be a little bit patient, but balanced also is pretty decent. With the default of 5, players in the box, default of 5. Corners, you need this on 2. If you have it on 3 and you lose the ball, you're in massive trouble. I think with counter attacks, I think you can have it even on 1 possibly, because I think most people take them short anyway, but 2 is what I go for. 3 free kicks, I mean, who knows? I mean, I just take a shot every time. I leave that on the default of 3, but I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference. So the instructions for this, I go for every formation I have my keeper on comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. To be honest, I don't feel any difference whatsoever, especially with sweeper keeper. They don't sweep up at all, but I like the way it sounds in my head. So, you know, if it's going to save me once or twice with them rushing out, then, you know, that's one. I'll take that as a bonus. But this is my theory for these formations, or for these wide formations. I believe that you have to have either your fullbacks unbalanced or your CMs/CDMs unbalanced. My preference is for the fullbacks to be unbalanced, because obviously a lot of this formation is going down the wing. So I have the fullback line unbalanced, I have the wingers unbalanced. Obviously, as I've just said, because I have the fullbacks unbalanced, I have Pogba and Sissoko, my 2 CMs, on stayed backs, giving me a little bit of cover and stop me getting counter-attacked. The CF, oh, by the way, I should probably point out that the 4-4-1 I'm using is the one with the CF and not the cam. So yeah, so the centre forward I have on comeback on defence. You know, as you'll know, a lot of people like to keep the ball in your half and try and find the way into the box. I think you do need the extra man coming back to help out the defence. I also have him for getting behind for the counter-attacks, and just basically to get beyond the main striker, you know, make runs in behind for the through balls. And the striker I have on getting behind and stay forward. Obviously you're going to need someone to stay up there, aren't you, because if you have him on balanced, or especially if you have him on comeback, you're going to have pretty much no one to hit when you win the ball back. So if I'm trying to defend a lead with this, I have no idea why that's on 3. That's not right. I do still leave it unbalanced. Same width and depth again. I sometimes drop that down to 3. And like I said, 3 or 4, your only real options for that. Defensive style, I push it up to balance, because sometimes when you're holding on for a lead, you want to hit the longer balls. You don't want all your players always coming to feet, because obviously you're inviting pressure, especially if they're using pressure on heavy touch or press out of possession loss, or constant pressure, of course. You're inviting pressure if you constantly just stay on possession and giving it to people's feet. Instructions for when I'm holding on to a lead, I go for comes for same for every formation, no matter what. I have comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. Stay back while attacking on the full back line. Obviously the two centre backs are default. I actually have come back on defence for the two wide, the right mid and the left mid. In fact, I've got stay back on the two centre mids and come back on defence on the wingers. So basically just getting as many men behind the ball as possible. It's basically, you're trying to get a kind of drop back effect without using drop back. With drop back, I think your team is a little bit too passive, so I do like to keep it unbalanced, but kind of have the perks of drop back, if that makes sense. Don't know, it works for me anyway. Come back on defence and getting behind as the same on the CF. And I have the striker the same. I just have him on, I actually don't have him on stay forward, I have him on balanced, you know, just for a little bit extra defensive protection. The 4-4-2, I usually go straight to this in game. Is this the one I got? Yes, it is. So for the 4-4-2, it's just pretty much the same. You know, it's going to be the balanced defensive, 5 and 4 possession. Like I said, I do prefer to start on that, especially, you know, when the game's first half, first 60 minutes. You know, when you're trying to control the game, I think possession is definitely your best bet. You know, keep the ball. I just think it feels a little bit smoother for your attacking. The rest is just the same as the 4-4-1-1 instructions. Like I said, same with the keeper as always. Balanced left and right fullback. Balanced for the two wingers, and we have stay back while attacking for the two CMs. So like I said, it's pretty similar. It's pretty much the same as the 4-4-1-1. Getting behind, I'll say for this year, I'm not entirely sure. For the 4-4-1-1, getting behind is definitely the one, but when you've got two strikers this year, I'm not sure getting behind is actually the right idea. I think, especially when people are playing drop back and park in the bush, you'll actually find that your strikers will actually make better runs if you just leave them on, what's it called? Mixed it out, default, you know, balanced. I think, obviously, if they're playing a high line or it's getting late in the game, they're chasing the game, then getting behind's fine. But with the drop back meta being how it is, I'd actually prefer, well, sometimes I prefer to leave them on mixed. If I'm defending a lead with 4-4-2, I go for pretty much the same as the 4-4-1-1, balanced 5-4. Like I said before, sometimes drop that down to 3. Balanced. I just have the feeling that the closer to default you keep all these values, the more chance that you're going to have, I don't know how to explain it, just everything feels smooth. You know, the AI seems to make better runs. You know, you seem to have players in the correct positions, helpful positions, I'll say. So yeah, I mean, you're going to be watching this thing, and is this it? Like, I'm expecting to see, you know, some kind of crazy numbers, maybe, you know, some drop back, some fast build up, but I just don't think that's how this FIFA works. Sadly, it is a little bit about keeping the ball and just keeping things safe, you know, not doing anything too out of the ordinary, if I'm honest. I don't know about other people, but for me, that's how I feel. If I'm defending the lead, I'll have the fullback line and stay back. Again, I'll be telling the wide, the left and right mid to come back on defence. Of course, Pogba and Sissoko on stay back. I also will mention for this, right, mate, and if any of you watched my custom tactics video last year, you'll also realise this was an annoyance of mine. People, especially competitive and pro players, have this obsession with cover centre, right? Should we just read the description here, right? Cover wing, defend the open wing if teammate isn't marking. So if you haven't got a player there, with cover wing on, it will still cover the centre. Everyone seems to think that if you have it on cover wing, they will literally go and like stand at right back and left back. That's not how it works. Read the description, boys and girls. So yeah, the two wingers will come back, Pogba and Sissoko on stay back. And this one, when I'm defending the lead, I do have them on getting behind, but I also, I mean, I'm ashamed to say this, but I do actually have both my strikers on comeback and defence. Sadly, that's just how it's going to be this year. Having a lot of men behind the ball is pretty effective, you know, getting your Getting your Sean Dyche and Burnley, 2 banks of 4, every man behind the ball. It's sad, but it's just how this FIFA is. I mean, if you want to win more games, you're just gonna have to do it. Like I said, a lot of people will have this on and they'll also use, you know, drop back or maybe drop the width a little bit, but I prefer balance. But like I said, to put the instructions on to give yourselves the perks of having drop back. But I honestly do think that the balance is a little bit better. So that's all for the 442 and the 4411. Give these values a try yourselves. Let me know what you think. If you want me to cover any other formations or if you've got any questions, leave them down below, and I will see you all for a rewards video in a few days' time. See you all later.